All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of College Football Chatter, part of the Bama Standard Network. Appreciate everybody already jumping in here, and as you guys can see here, we're going to have a special guest on today, newly rated 4-star defensive lineman James Morrow from Beaufort, Georgia. Welcome, brother, and I appreciate the time and you getting on here and talking to us and everybody in the comment section.
Hello. Hey, how y'all doing? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, you're just breaking up a little bit.
Oh, okay. How y'all doing?
Good, man. How you doing?
Man, doing good, man.
What we'll do is we'll go ahead and go around the panel,
Yes,
let everybody
sir.
introduce themselves before we get started in today's interview, and let James' his internet catch up real quick. Coach Sean, let's start off with you, go down you, Ty, and then over to you, Brinsky.
What's up, James? How you doing, man? My name is Coach Sean. All my former players call me Coach Sean. My name is Rushawn. Played my ball at Alabama A&M University, HBCU, here in Huntsville, Alabama. Played back in the Stone Ages, if you will. You know what I mean? Late 90s, early 2000s. Really a pleasure to be on with you, man. You taking time out with us. Really appreciate it, man. Really enjoyed watching your film, and can't wait to get into it with you real quick.
Yes, sir.
Ty.
Yeah, James, thank you for being here. Really awesome to get to talk to you. Really excited to dive into your process, the way you view it, the way college football is right now. I mean, I've been covering college football now for 4 or 5 years, and it's changed so much. So being able to hear from someone like yourself, really excited for that. So I'm unbelievably appreciative for the time.
All right. So Brinsky's putting his daughter down real quick. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and jump into this. Kenneth, what's going on, man? Roll Tide, obviously. Jermaine, what's going on? Roll Tide as well. So with that being said, look, James, I got to say something. Before we even jump into the nitty gritty here, I just got to say this. Coach Sean just gave a story about Miami the other day. And when I did a deep dive on you, man, I saw that you had a chance to go to University of Miami and have a pool party out there. Look, his experience was waking up in a broom closet. Coach Sean, please tell him your experience and give me your experience at the University of Miami in that pool party, bro.
Yeah, so this was back in the day, Jay. This was back when they still had, Freaknik in Atlanta. This was when it was really a good time all over the South. And we went to South Beach, had got that little refund check from the scholarship, and we took those couple of G's and rented a van and drove all the way to Miami, South Beach. And I remember the hotel was Hotel Meridian or something like that. And man, at that time I hadn't seen some of that stuff, man. And I'll just keep it rated G. We had a really nice time, a lot of nice peaches out there, and I woke up in a damn broom closet, man. Some kind of way. Don't know how. My partner was in there. My former teammate was in there with me, man. I'll just say South Beach, Miami is it's on another planet of its own, if you know what I'm saying.
Right.
So what was your experience? What was your experience down there, man? At that pool party, just chilling in Miami. Obviously, I have another note pulled up for that. Actually, I don't know if you talked to him, Camarion Johnson. He's a commit to Alabama as of right now. Did you have a chance to talk to him? Who'd you hang out with? What'd you do down there, man?
No, sir. I did not get a chance to talk to him. But my time down there was really fun. Going down there with some other Georgia guys, and yeah, we just really had a good time.
Facts.
All right, Ty, what you got? You got any questions for him, man?
Yeah, I got two. One more of a serious one, and the other is a fun one. So we'll start serious and then end on the fun note. James, one of the things I've talked about for really since the inception of NIL is I think there's a misconception amongst fans. Of course, NIL, it's a factor in a lot of recruitments because you guys should be paid for your name, image, and likeness. I think everybody here on the panel has championed NIL. But I think fans feel like, oh, well, that's all people care about now. I want to hear from you as a recruit. What is it that you're looking for? Because I've always operated under the assumption that, yeah, NIL should be a factor, but relationships to me is still what's king in college football recruiting. But as a recruit, how do you view that?
I view it the same way you view it. I agree with some of the fans, and I agree with you, but at the same time, I do fully agree with you that relationships are the biggest key piece in recruitment.
Yeah, for sure. Because those things, they last, right? I think that's something that lasts. Now for the fun question.
Right.
I'm in Texas, James, and in Texas, we pride ourselves on high school football, but I argue with some of my fellow Texans that say, hey, Texas is without a doubt the best. And I'm like, hey, you can't discount what they're doing in Florida, in Georgia, California, heck, even DC has that league up there that's incredible. Who is the best? What state is the best for high school football?
Well, I'm biased to my hometown state, Georgia. I love it. I mean, you can see it with the college teams. You can see it with the high school teams. Like I would say we're undoubtedly the best in the nation with football.
Yeah, I don't know that I can argue with that. Y'all do some crazy things down there on the high school level, on the college level. So,
Right.
yeah, just wanted to ask you those, man. And as you're going through your recruiting process, enjoy it, man. That's the whole point. And I hope you are.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Brinsky, what you got for him, Brinsky?
Oh man, what's good with you, James? Man, sorry, man. I just had having to run around with my daughter tonight, but I think I got a two-part.
It's all good, Coach. It's all good.
Yeah. But one of my questions, like, what is your goal for like this senior year? Well, it's a two-part one. Just like Ty, one is a serious one, and next one is a fun one. But what is your goals for this upcoming senior year for you? Like, what are you trying to accomplish in with your high school? What are you trying to do? What are you trying to work on? And yeah, let me just start with that. What are your goals, and what are you trying to work on throughout the season?
My main goals is to be stronger every day. Take every day one step at a time. I'm really trying to be where my feet are now, but I am planning goals to, digit sacks, strive to be the best at my position, and strive to be the best in the nation. So that's really my goal.
Facts.
Okay, and the last one, man. I'm a big music guy, and I got some young bulls in your class that are ranked too, and I don't understand what their music that they be listening to. I just heard Baby Kid last year, and Baby Kid is out of Georgia.
Yeah.
Heard of Baby Kid. What do you listen to? Like your top three artists that you listen to?
Hello, I'm sorry, I cut out for a second.
No, you good.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Well, the music I listen
top
to
three
before a
artists
game,
that you listen
I'm really not gonna lie, Coach. I'm from down south. I gotta put that country in there. So I gotta go. See, I'm not a good hype up guy. I like to calm my nerves before the storm, before the game. So I'll say the Warren Treaty for my number one. I'll put the Warren Treaty for my number one, and then I will put probably Zach Top, number two. And if when I get a little hype, I'll turn like a little Atlanta artist song called Glock 40 Spaz.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
man. You just made me feel old, and I'm not even that old.
Fact. See, James, we from the T.I. Goody Mob Outcast days. You know what I'm saying? The TL days. We from them days, man.
Yeah, man. I'm Gucci, Lil Wayne,
Yeah.
Tip, all those guys, man. I'm just like, I have no idea who these people are.
I got a question for you, James. I got a question for you if I can. So I watched your film,
Yes,
man. I
sir.
watched a little bit, a couple of your highlights, and I noticed you got a really, really, really quick first step. You know, you got really, really good quickness to get inside of the offensive lineman. You fight off blocks very, very well. And it seems like you got good upper body strength. I want to know from you, what do you consider your biggest strengths when you get on the football field?
I would say my biggest strengths would be playing the run, because I know a lot of people, they love the pass rush, they love to look pretty doing that, but
Facts.
you don't get there without the dirty work, as my coach says.
Yes,
So
sir.
I would say playing the run.
Love it.
He's
Love
got me
it.
ready to run through a brick wall with that answer.
Love it,
Yeah. I
James.
know.
Yes.
Oh yeah, run through
Love
right here.
it. For sure, bro.
All right.
That's
Well,
an SEC answer. I
Yes,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah, that definitely is. So I
Yes,
got a
sir,
question
yes,
real
sir,
quick,
yes, sir.
James. So what schools and any coaches have really stood out to you so far in your recruiting process? Anybody from Alabama, any school, it doesn't matter, but what schools and what coaches have really stood out to you in your opinion?
Well, Bama has really stood out to me with their commitment to success. I mean, Coach Roach, he don't take no slack from nobody, and if you slacking off, he gonna put you right back in check. So Bama really show how much like they're committed to success. And then Florida State as well with Coach T Knight and Coach Odell Higgins. Even though they say he's not on the roster anymore, he's still helping out. But also.
Oh, there we go.
Hello.
All right, you're good now. You're good,
You're
man.
good.
Okay. But yeah, like Coach Higgins and Coach T Knight from Florida State, they have a young room at Florida State and they can really do something. And Coach T Knight proved that at Nebraska with his D line. So I don't doubt that he can't do it over there at Florida State as well.
There you go. So we got Alabama and Florida State really piquing interest there. Now, I got one more thing with you before I let these guys finish off and ask their questions as well. I got to know the experience from this. It says you had a private workout with, now Miami D-line coach, right? Jason Taylor. You're talking about one of the best in the business here. I want to know how that was and what that meant to you.
Yes. I'm sorry, I keep cutting out.
No, you're good, man. You can restart.
Coach Taylor's awesome. You know, learning from a Hall of Famer, a guy where I want to be in the future. And him knowing all the steps and all the ways to succeed. I really want to be in his shoes when I get older, wearing that gold jacket like him. So it was amazing, him knowing the basics all the way up to the things people don't even think about. It was just mind blowing.
Right.
All right, real quick question from one of the commenters here is they're just asking, what is a Bama player that really stood out to you when you were growing up?
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me? Let's see here. What I'll do, I'm going to remove him and bring him back in real quick. Let's see here. There you go, James. Can you hear me? High school recruits. He's still in school, bro.
Hello? I'm sorry, I can't hear y'all.
Can you hear me, James?
We hear you.
Can you hear us?
Well, see us.
Can you hear us, James?
So I'm going to go ahead and
might have cut him out.
Yeah. So when he jumps back in here, I'll send him a message to jump back in here. With that being said,
I had an important question to ask him too.
If he jumps back here, James, if you can hear us, go ahead. If anything, log out and log back in, and we'll bring you back in, brother. There we go. There he is. There we go. Can you hear us, James?
I'm sorry, I can't hear y'all.
You still can't hear us?
I don't know if it's on my end.
You still can't hear us? His reception looks good.
We can hear and see you perfectly, James. Now.
All right. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna shoot him a message.
Okay.
What I'll do is I'll let him know to go back in. But my question is, was it surprised that he brought up Florida State, any of that? Because I didn't see Florida State really heavily in the recruiting process when it comes to that, but it seems like they're definitely kind of in the mix.
I'm not surprised. I mean, listen, teams have ups and downs, and last year they had a down. The year before they had an up. But Florida State is a brand, man. Like, they just are. Even a kid growing up in small town Gainesville, Texas, you know what I mean? Like, there were people I went to high school with that were Florida State fans because it's Florida State. It's a brand. There are a few schools out there that I've always said this. John, you and I have had this conversation. Brinsky, Coach Sean, we've had this conversation. That logo on the helmet won't win you a recruiting battle, but it might get you in the door. And in recruiting where relationships are so key, getting in that door could be really impactful. And the kid knows his stuff, man, talking about the coach who did great things at Nebraska and now over there at Florida State.
Yeah.
He knows his stuff.
Let me see. Let's see here if he's going to come back in. Coach, what about, I mean, I know there's not really a whole lot to speak on when it comes to this. I really wanted that Jason Taylor answer, man. And Kennedy had a great question too about the Alabama player. Let me see if he can come back in here. So, James, can you hear me or no? No, I don't think so. He's completely cut out. So either way, all right. Well, when I asked him to log out and log back in through X real quick, and then when if he has time to get back in here, we'll ask him a few more questions. When down to there he goes. I think he just logged out and coming back in. There we go. There we go. Can you hear me?
Sorry. Yes, sir.
No, you're good.
I can hear y'all.
Technology is a blessing and a curse, man. It is what it is.
Right. Yes, sir.
No, so I guess I'll just rehash that question real quick about Coach Jason Taylor, how that experience was.
It was really mind opening seeing how somebody that got to the biggest and highest can come down and teach guys like me, you know, the basics and even further than the basics, things that people don't even think about in the pass rush game, in the run game, stuff like that. So it was really mind opening to me.
Facts.
There you go. All right, Coach Sean, you said you had a question.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I got a question for you, James. I know, man, when I played, bro, I don't know how it is today. Some of my former kids tell me they do. Some tell me they don't. I had an inspiration. It was my grandmother. She didn't know nothing about football, but she always gave me that blessing, man. So I tried to play for her. My first question is, who is your inspiration when you out there on that field, and do you have any superstitions?
My inspiration is definitely my dad.
Yes, sir.
He wakes up in the morning and he works so I can eat, and he works so I can get to the level I want to be at. So I would really say my inspiration and my superstar is my dad.
Yes,
and then I actually don't have any superstitions. So
okay.
I don't know. We might have to start that this season.
That's good, man, because I had a shimmer shirt, a little shimmer shirt we wore under the pads. Had an awesome game in that damn shirt. Always wanted to wear it, man. And when I didn't wear it, I got hurt. So that was my superstition.
Right.
Man. You know, it seemed like everybody had them.
Okay.
But that's good that you don't have none, man. Trust me.
Yes, sir.
All right. Y'all got any more questions for him?
Yeah, I actually do. And it's another two-parter. One of them is dealing with one of your teammates, you and Bryce Perry, right? All right, in the weight room, who lifts more? And who you think is the strongest?
I would definitely say I'm stronger lower body wise. Yeah, and he's a monster. I can tell you that right now. He's a monster.
Yes,
upper body wise, I can tell you he got me. But it's a competition every day. We working over here.
Facts.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, man. That's a humble man right there. Just being honest. I thought you were gonna say yourself.
Facts.
But last one for
I
me.
gotta be honest.
But last one for me. Since you play on the D line, who is your top 5 D linemen in the NFL right now?
Oh my gosh, on the spot.
Ooh, that's a good one. Okay, so number one got to be T.J. Watt. T.J. Watt at number 1. And then I will put Nick Bosa number 2. And then I got to put Chase Young number 3 because I grew up watching him. So wherever he go, I'm a fan. I grew up watching him. I would put Michael Parsons in that conversation, even though they call him a linebacker. I will put him as a edge, a D lineman. And then number 5. Number 5. I'll put Nolan Smith.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Eagles.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So,
Nice.
Oh, Myles Garrett.
Oh, I forgot about the grades. Oh,
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah,
ooh.
Nolan Smith might have to go down 1. I'll put Myles Garrett at 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to.
Oh yeah, man. I was just wondering. I was like, man, you a tough crowd, man.
All right. So
Yeah.
Kennedy has got a question here. He said, "What is one Bama player that stands out to you when you were growing up?"
Hello?
Yeah, you hear me?
I'm here. I can hear you now.
No, we got a question that says, "What is one Bama player that really stood out to you growing up?"
Oh, growing up. Not gonna lie, he's not a D-line. I would say Julio Jones.
Facts.
Yeah.
Julio Jones.
He's on a lot of people's
We get
list.
that answer a lot, James. We get that answer a lot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, trust me.
He's the best. He was Jeremiah Smith before Jeremiah Smith was who he
That's
is.
facts.
So I would say that.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah,
So
yes,
Ty, you got any questions for him before we get off here? Let him get back to what he's doing.
Man, I'm trying to think of another one. I was really looking forward to asking you that one I initially asked you, James, about how you view the recruiting process, because that's something we fight with a lot of fans about. Because I think they'd be shocked hearing from guys like yourself who think about relationships and culture and fit and how that might come above NIL. Not to say that NIL doesn't matter. It certainly does. But just those aspects like that. Right now, I guess, what's the visit you are most looking forward to take in the future?
Ooh. I would put Bama up there. Bama's definitely up there. I would put Georgia Tech up there. Florida. I really want to get to like a West Coast team. So I might hit up Colorado or Oregon, one of those schools. But yes, sir. Those are really the top schools that I would hit up.
And Georgia Tech's coming off of a great year. Of course, we're all biased here. You know where we'd like to see you.
Yeah.
But
Right.
I'm just glad that you're enjoying your process, man. Like I said, you get it one time. Enjoy it, man. And I love that answer where you said you are where your feet are. That's going to take you far in life, man. That thought process right there, that's going to take you far.
All right. Anybody else? Any last questions before we let James get back to his thing?
No question for me. I just want to say thank you, James, man. We appreciate you, bro, for real.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all. I appreciate y'all so much.
Yes, sir.
Definitely, man. Appreciate you coming on, man.
Thanks.
Good luck through the process, man. Take your time. And I know you'll make the right decision wherever it is. If it's not Bama, I can still see you going far. And hopefully one day we see you wearing that gold jacket.
Yes, sir.
Thanks.
All right, man. Appreciate you getting on here. Obviously, if you ever want to come back on, let me know. You know I'm going to be hitting you back up in the future. We got to drag you back on again. You know what I mean? Appreciate the time always. So other than that, you have a good day, man. And have fun doing your thing, bro.
Yes, sir.
Hey,
Thank you. Y'all
James,
have a
when
great
you
one
get
as
that
well.
gold jacket, and I hit it with a retweet, all I ask is that you retweet my retweet.
I got you. I got you. Yes, sir.
All right, James.
All right, guys.
Good kid. Good kid.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. 4-star defense lineman James Morrow out of Buford, Georgia, getting on here, giving us some of his time. You know, he's got things going on in this Friday night, right? So it's kind of tough to get these guys in on Friday night and stuff like that with everything going on, obviously. But
I loved some of his answers. I loved all of his answers, but where your feet are, I thought that wise beyond your years. That answer right there, I loved that.
that almost had me a little bit like in tears. I was like, oh man, that struck a chord.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's a kid that's going to go far, man. I'm excited to see
Yep.
how his career progresses. I'm looking forward to keeping up with him.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, I'll definitely get him back on here and we'll do this again. But with that being said, guys, we got some stuff to get into. But before that, let's get back to the comments here. Jermaine Baker, Faith, yep. Appreciate y'all getting in here. Chris, Faith, as always. Kenneth, as always. Daniel Barry. So roll tide. Give him a shout out. Appreciate it, obviously. So let's go ahead and start off into this because look, we got a little bit to get into. First of all, cornerback Jordan Edmonds. We made a video over this and never got released because it was just everything fell through that day. Me and Brensky were having off days and everything else, but good thing we did because he got moved again. By the way, Jordan Edmonds did move his official visit all the way from June 20th, and now it has been pushed all the way up to June 6th. So. Specifically to target certain recruits. My question, which I wanted to ask you this, Coach, on the other day, which is why I was like, man, I wish he was on here because you're a coach. How important is it to get some of your top tier recruits, your high profile recruits and stuff like that to come in on these official visits and help recruit other players and be willing enough to do that?
I used to think it was very important. It used to be extremely important. But now, man, these kids have a lot of different things pulling at them, man. You know, I know this personally, you know, from kids that's being recruited right here. These kids have a lot of different things pulling them in 1,000 different directions. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
And kids set these dates sometime based around all sorts of different things: grandmother's birthdays, parents' birthdays, dates that are special to them for something that happened in their lives. It used to be the quicker you get to visit the official, the better. You either get them in quick or you want to be the last one of the two. Nowadays, with everything that's going on and how kids are being recruited and all these different things is pulling them in a lot of directions, I don't think it's as important as it used to be to get them in early anymore, right? A kid that may go on a visit and enamored by the visit early, you know, there's a lot of other things, I'll just say that tantalize these kids now, other than just a great campus visit, a great, you know, coaching visit, you know, good food. It's a lot of other things out there, man, that'll make you forget about that great visit very shortly. So for me, as long as you get him in on the official, man, and sell yourself, because at the end of the day, a lot of these kids are gonna make the choice based off other things other than the visit.
No, I got you. Ty, what you got on that, man?
Yeah, listen, I definitely agree with Coach right there. But also there is something that I do really like about this, him moving it to be able to help recruit. To me, it has less to do with the timeline of when the visit comes. Now, I'll dive into that a bit later, and I say that because he is already committed, but put a pin in that for a later topic this evening. I like it specifically because, Coach, one of the things you and I have even talked about this, Jonathan, I know you and I definitely have in videos. Brinsky, you and I have. It's one thing to have a coach recruiting you, but there's a reason why in college, your tutors are your peers, right? Like when you go to a tutoring session in college, very rarely is a professor doing the tutoring. Now, it can happen, but a lot of the times, or at least in my experience, it was a peer that was there mentoring. And I like that because whenever you have a guy like Jordan Edmonds, who's the number one cornerback in the nation, coming to Alabama to help recruit others, to me, that's impactful. Those are the guys that you're going to be going through war with. Those are the guys that you're going to be dorming with. Those are the guys that you're going to go through not only the workouts of college football, but also your experience of college. I think that can be very impactful. So that's something I really am looking forward to seeing.
Brinsky, what you got? I know you spoke very similar on that. So, but what you got, man?
Yeah, man. I just believe he's just trying to get guys in to the class with him. You can tell he's fully committed in being with the Alabama Crimson Tide. He just trying to get some dogs with him like Brandon Arrington, and just trying to convince some guys who's probably juggling between two schools, and Bama could be one of them. Like, let's stop playing, man. Let's just come on in here. Let's be legendary like the guys before us. Because I think he sees greatness, especially if he looks in the NFL. You see the top guys in the NFL is pretty much at that position is Alabama. From Trayvon Diggs to Pat Surtain to Minka Fitzpatrick to Xavier McKinney, Marlon Humphrey, and so on and so forth. So you want to be great, come to Alabama. So I think that's what he just moved up the date for. Just trying to get us in here. That's all.
We got Bevo's bodyguard in here, man. I always like when you come in here, bro, give some good entertainment, talking about the transfers going to Texas. Yeah, it hasn't went well with Black, and then obviously we know about the the Reaper. So yeah, it hasn't went too well lately for you guys when it comes to transfers from Alabama, in my opinion. But anyways, moving on here, let me get to my banners real quick. Look, wide receiver Sadarian Morgan releases his commitment date, which I do have in front of me here, July 2nd. And just like you said, Coach Sean, it's funny you said that. A lot of these dates mean something. And the reason he did it, he said it's going to be 2 weeks from my official visit. It's also going to be, I believe he said, on his grandmother's birthday. And it's also the same day that his mom found out that she was pregnant with him. So that day meant the most to him. So he decided to nail it on July 2nd. I guess we'll start off with you, Brinsky, and go around the opposite way this time. Our chances of landing Sadarian Morgan, high profile, 5-star wide receiver, definitely a dog. What you think?
Family is a Bama fans. You can just tell he wants to be at Alabama, man. We have the best wide receiver coach outside of Brian Hartline in the country. And I just think he just want to stay at home, man. This is just the perfect place for him. He wants to be the next one up like Julio Jones. You can see a similar build, just a little taller than Julio, but you can tell that he wants to be the next great one at Alabama. So, man, if Will Foam puts that crystal ball on you, it's 9 times out of 10 it's likely to go that way. It's very unlikely for it to go the other way because nobody's batting 1,000. But 9 times out of 10, if he usually put that crystal ball on you, but things can change through these official visits. Of course, he's in Colorado right now.
Yep.
I don't see Colorado being in this chase, but anything can change. College football is just different now when it comes to recruiting, man. So anything can change. What he's feeling, what I'm feeling today can change tomorrow, just based on the reports that I see and all that. But we'll see after the Auburn visit. I don't know. I forgot when I visit. I think I was the last one or before.
With Sadarian?
Yeah.
So June 20th, which means we would be the second to last. So I think Auburn has the last one.
I believe how that visit goes. I put it like this. If he goes into the visit with Alabama and he just say, okay, I'm not going to the Auburn visit, that's almost pretty much wraps it up for me. It's already a done data. But if he goes to Auburn, then it's still a toss up. But I still would give the lean to Alabama based on our history.
Yeah.
But we'll see how it goes.
Ty, what you got?
So you remember earlier when I said put a pin in the comment about when visits happen? Gentlemen, Alabama has the last visit for the 5-star wide receiver. I like that. I like that a lot. June 20th is when he visits Alabama, commits July 2nd. Now, I have always been a proponent.
Oh, yeah.
John, you and I talked about this, oh gosh, maybe a year or so ago with a kid who was supposed to take a visit to Alabama early in the summer, ended up pushing it back, and there was some fans who were uncomfortable with it. And you and I were sitting there saying, whoa, hold on now. This isn't a bad thing. If he's not committing until December, now this is a different circumstance with Sedarian Morgan. We understand this, but in this other instance, kid wasn't going to commit until December. Alabama got a later visit, ended up working very well. This is already a kid Alabama has prioritized. And Alabama has got an insane wide receiver coach right now, someone who has already put guys in the NFL. More guys are going to go into the NFL under his tutelage. And Jamarcus Shepard, I love that Alabama has the last visit. I think that serves them very well.
Coach?
For me, man, when it comes to this recruiting stuff, I lean on y'all. I really don't know, to be honest with you, to be completely honest. It's like I said, I know personally that kids have reasons for these dates, the dates set, and it's always good to have the last visit. It's always good to have the last visit, especially when it's an in-state or local kid.
Yeah.
You know, this kid will be a legend at Bama. You know, he got some great quarterbacks that's coming up that's going to be with him. You know, I hope we get him, right? But when it comes to this recruiting, bro, especially nowadays, man, I never know, bro. I never know, to be completely honest and transparent with you. You know, I know I am one. In his case, I am a fan, and I hope that he smiles on us and you know, commit to the University of Alabama when it's time.
Yeah, I think Sedarian would be a huge pickup for a multitude of reasons. I think the biggest one's going to be wide receiver depth, and if he comes in knowing that we have a Lautier Brooks, we have these guys, you know, Isaiah Horton still lined up. You know what I mean? And it depends on who leaves this upcoming season. Where he could be sitting out on a depth chart, but bringing him in and bringing in and stacking the tight end room as well. Like, I think it just shows a lot to, you know, maybe he's willing to wait a year. I don't know. Maybe he's special enough to step on the field day one. I do know that we'll get into it in a little bit later. I believe it was him that was talking about wanting playing time earlier. Maybe I'm wrong. I did make some notes on Sedarian. No, it wasn't him. So, but either way, yeah, obviously you want to see him in crimson and white. He's going to be a special wide receiver no matter where he goes, right? So I think that's undoubted. But I personally feel like from everything I've read, everything I've saw, I think he's a pretty good lean to Alabama right now. Now, the real interesting one moving on here, and Ty, I'll start off with you on this, but I don't know how much you've looked at athlete. I'm just going to call him the tight end, Roman Voss. Puts Alabama in his top 2. I believe it was Minnesota who we put in with them. It seems like Alabama is really going after the tight ends in the 2026, 2027 class. I get it, the lack of depth, the injuries we've seen, but we're talking about 11 offers in the 2027 class and like 6 for the 2026 class. Can you speak anything on Roman Voss and the depth and the size and everything else we're looking at for Kalen DeBoer and Grubbs to work with when it comes to this offensive scheme?
Yeah, so I think right now when you look at the biggest position of need for Alabama recruiting, I think a lot of people would say tight end, just because right now that's an area where they just tried to get depth via the transfer portal. Clint Lamb talked to us about this, and I thought he really laid it out well, where he said, I don't think Alabama's going to go after a major splash, but they're going to go after depth, right? Like, in theory, when the guys are healthy in the room, they like what they have, but they just weren't healthy over the spring. You don't want to repeat that next spring if at all possible. Caleb Edwards comes in this summer. I'm excited to see what he can do, especially being an athlete on that outside. with the amount of times Grubb runs 12 personnel. I actually think that there are times where he can find some playing time this year, but I think Voss, being highly regarded, being a guy that the staff likes, I love that they're zeroing in on him.
Have you done any research on him at all, Brinsky? So Voss, to me, in my opinion, is you're bringing in somebody with size that can block and catch the ball. And look, when you look at the tight end position as a whole, what we're recruiting right now and moving forward, one of my biggest and most exciting prospects in the 2026 class, or 2025 class, sorry, that you named, Caleb Edwards. Like, to me, he's a vertical threat, like a nightmare, in my opinion. When you go and watch his film, he can get the chip blocks, stuff like that. But I feel like, the way Kalen DeBoer with Grubbs, the way they're going to be using this offense, which is a lot of leaking the tight ends out to the seams and stuff like that, misdirection, right? So a lot of fluff in a sense. I think it's going to become very critical to find these tight ends that have good hands that can go up and get the ball, especially in the red zone, and become a red zone nightmare. And a good example of that is this past spring when Isaiah Horton was lining up actually at tight end a couple of times. So he actually, I believe, caught a touchdown at the tight end position in the red zone. 6'4.5", almost 6'5", big body who can block a little bit. So, but yeah, Coach, I know you don't do a whole lot of research on these guys yet. So anything you just want to speak on as far as like how important really the tight end position is in this style of offense?
Yeah, it's extremely important, especially with Grubb. A very tight end centric guy. A lot of 12 personnel. Go look at it. A lot of 12 personnel, man. They use the tight ends a lot, man. A lot of crosses, a lot of meshes, a lot of counteraction, man, with the tight end. Sneaking behind those linebackers. Tight end is very important in this offense, man. So it's exceptionally important that we get it right. Seriously, you're 100% correct.
All right, so moving on to the last one, when it really comes down to the recruiting, there's a lot of news that came out. This one was kind of a surprise to me. Linebacker Sincere Johnson names Bama in his top 3. We're talking about a guy out of Brinsky, right? Cleveland, I believe it was. So Glenville, I believe. So I'll let you start off on this one. Yeah, we're talking about a highly rated linebacker. Most likely is going to play the inside linebacker position. But speak on him real quick. Oh, I can't be a Elisha without the mute. We already know that.
It had to be me. But yeah, man, out of Cleveland, Ohio, which I know very, very well. Shout out to my aunties. But out of Glenville, very big time school, very big on Ohio State, with players like Troy Smith, there's Ted Ginn Jr., Ted Ginn Sr. coached there for all those years. Steve Harvey went there. Marshawn Lattimore went there. That was like, the list goes on and on. But I think the advantage for us is that the coaching staff, you can tell that Freddie Roach is making a big imprint on him, and especially him having family down here. So he's very, very familiar with Alabama football coming down here, especially I think his family is located in the Auburn area. So they right down the road from me. So I think Alabama has an advantage in this, because just the simple fact that you can go into that state in that particular school and have an impression on a kid like that says a lot to me. So I think Alabama has a great chance of getting him. I wouldn't be surprised at all if they get him. So don't be surprised if we do get him as a commit.
Yeah, so correct me if I'm wrong. Sincere, I mean, we're talking about a guy. Yeah, that's what I thought. He's a thumper. He's a heavy set guy, right? So, I mean, he's not thin, right? He's not coming in at 200 pounds. This is a dude who's going to line up in the middle linebacker position possibly and hit you. Talking about Reuben Foster, right, a lot. And when you watch his videos, his inspiration, his mentor and stuff like that. That's really inspiring, because to me, we haven't had a Reuben-style linebacker in a long time, maybe since Reuben Foster, right? So, but with that being said, Ty, give me your takes.
Yeah, this is going to be a battle I keep up with, guys. It's one that's not going to be won easily.
No.
I'm going to play a bit of devil's advocate here. You're going up against Penn State, who has recruited very well. You're going up against Ohio State, who they have, God, what's their linebacker? James Laurinaitis is their linebacker coach. He's recruited the position very well. But if you want to stay home, Bama offers a unique opportunity. And especially when you look at the room, Bama's recruited it very, very well. But this upcoming year, you have guys that are eligible to hit the draft in Jefferson. And I'm sitting here wondering, like, what the recruiting class is going to look like for the linebacker position, with Lawson being draft eligible, with Jefferson being draft eligible. And like you said, John, this is a guy that's imposing. Bama hasn't had that since Mack Wilson. Mack Wilson was a guy who would go out there and smack you. And I think that's something that Bama wants to get back to. Now, I'm not going to lie. I've seen some things from Jefferson where if he gets a bit bigger, man, he's going to be a problem. So that's going to be fascinating.
All right, moving on here. So, Coach, anything you want to touch on? Nope, mute. Number two. Number two.
No. Yeah, my bad, man. I got this button on top of this mic, and if I touch it,
yeah, it does it. I know. Mine's the same way.
Yeah, man. No, but I'm just listening, man. I'm actually learning as these guys are saying. That's great information, man. And I'm hoping, goodness, man, that we get these guys. We need them. We need them with this scheme. We definitely need these guys. All the guys we can get that fit what these guys want to do. You know, I'm ecstatic and elated to even have an opportunity to get any of these kids, and for these kids to have Alabama in their top 3 like that, I'm cool with it.
And good news, Coach. We are heavily going after Tyson Bacon. He's became a priority. So I know you were talking about him before. So now getting over here into the meat potatoes, to my ending the show here. ESPN offering the SEC between $30 to $80 million to play one additional, basically a 9th SEC game. Coach, I feel like you can probably speak a lot on this. Give me your take on ESPN wanting to add this 9th game. We know Nick Saban has actually asked for this in the past, saying he wanted a 9th SEC game. Go ahead and give me your take on this.
I mean, it's a money thing, man. It's a money thing. We all understand that. We all. I mean, if it hadn't been clear before now, I mean, if it hadn't been clear when USC dipped from their own conference, do you see how much money that is, man? Extra outside of what your conference made, just to add another conference game, right? Look who's offering it, the actual station itself. So, I mean, this doesn't shock me at all. This on the high scale of we need more games is as asinine in a good way as the Papa John's or ReliaQuest Bowl is on the other end, right?
There it is, yeah.
It's the same. It's just on 2 different ends of the spectrum. It's all about money, man. And all these kids are watching, right? Please miss me with that student athlete stuff. Please miss me with that, bro. You know, call it what it is, man. Call it what it is. And that's how I feel about it, man. You're going to start seeing these things rear its head in college football. You got people that's not even from America starting to invest in college football and get involved with NIL at different schools. And bro, miss me with the student athlete stuff. That's out the window, gone, never to return.
Facts.
All right, Brensky, we're going to mix it up. We're going to go to you, and then we'll let Ty go third.
Oh, you talking about with the ESPN?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. But why nobody should be shocked by this, but I wouldn't be surprised if SEC Greg Sankey take this offer, man, just to play one more game. They just keep expanding. I just said the other day, man, what happened to the game that I love? It just turned into something I don't even recognize anymore. But you got to adapt with the times, and this is what the time is right now. So it is what it is.
Ty, what you got?
Yeah, I think that it's inevitable that it ends up happening. I'll tell y'all what, though. Like, this is a great talking point, but the thing that just drives me up a wall, absolutely drives me up a wall, is this playoff expansion and automatic bids.
Yeah.
The SEC shouldn't get automatic bids. The Big Ten shouldn't get nobody should get automatic bids. They shouldn't have expanded past 4. And when I sat here and said they shouldn't have expanded, everybody was like, I got called a boomer and they're going to stop at 12, Ty. And I said, okay, why? What makes you think they're going to stop at 12? Well, they just are. I want to hear from those people now. Because Josh Pate put out a tweet today, and Josh Pate and I were 2 very loud voices in the sphere saying, we don't need to expand. There are not 12 teams that have the possibility of winning, or there are not 12 national championship caliber teams in college football every year. There's not. There's absolutely not. This is not basketball where a Cinderella run happens. This is a physical game. And now you're going to 16. Why? Money. That's why. But it's not what's good for the sport. I remember a time whenever you lost 1-2 games, your college football playoff chances were gone. And this is coming from somebody who Bama fans disagreed with me last year. John, you probably saw it. Brinsky, Sean, y'all lived it with me. Whenever it came down to it and they said, should Bama get in the playoffs? I said, if Bama gets in, I'll be happy because it's my favorite team. I'll get to watch them. Yay. But no, I did not think Alabama deserved to be in the college football playoffs last year. And people pointed to, so do you think Bama would beat SMU? And I said, you're asking the wrong question. SMU took care of business. They didn't drop the ball against Vandy. They didn't drop the ball against Oklahoma. Bevo, you and I have had a bit of a debate in this chat, but let's be very honest here. This is what I said. Sark is a good coach. And Texas didn't have a very difficult SEC schedule. Don't get mad at me. I think ESPN rated their SEC schedule last in the conference in terms of difficulty. Yeah. But that being said, it is still an SEC schedule, which is much more difficult than the Big 12 from where they came. But Sark was ready because he knew what the SEC was. Texas showed up ready for business. Every time they went out there, they showed up ready for business. Good for them. That's what you need to do. DeBoer learned the hard way, and I'm a DeBoer believer. I think Bama has the right guy. He has beaten Lincoln Riley. He has beaten Dan Lanning. He has beaten Kirby Smart. He's beaten Sark multiple times, all with teams that were probably less talented than the teams he beat.
Hands down. Yeah.
But he did not come prepared the same way Sark came prepared. So I understand there's people saying, Texas didn't play a super hard schedule. They played an SEC schedule, and they took care of business. That's what you need to do. That's why I was always a proponent of SMU deserves to get in. They took care of business. That's what this is about.
Yeah, you know what's crazy is, do you know what solves every solution is winning? If you win, then there is no argument. If you win all your games, there is no argument. The debate's always going to be who deserves to be in. You look, guys, we could be going to the Division II new format, which is 32 teams, by the way, starting next season. So they're moving up from 28 to 32, which is crazy. But we're talking about a 12-team playoff. Obviously, Tyson here saying it's diluted football. Correct me if I'm wrong, Ty, but that's kind of what you're telling me here. That you're just seeing teams that don't need to be in there playing. It's going to get their asses handed to them.
I'll say this. I'll say this, man. If you check the record of the projection, I did a lot of research on that. They didn't make as much money as they thought they were going to make on this college football, on this initial college football playoff. It was a lot of those games, believe it or not, that had very low watch numbers, real stuff. I think the Penn State game was one of the lowest ones. And one thing that will make rich people change their strategies is when they lose money. So when Ty says these guaranteed spots, it doesn't shock me that they're going to do that. And Ty knows why. You know what I mean? When you put more SEC teams guaranteed and put more Big Ten teams guaranteed, guess what that does? Right or wrong, it brings more eyeballs. Like I agree with Ty. SMU won their games, however you want to call it. Yep. Right? Was it a debate over them in Bama? Sure it was. Do you want the team that everybody gonna watch, or do you want the team that's only got one loss or whatever it was? So I get it. They went the way of the loss of the records and all that stuff with Indiana and all that. It didn't work out too well for them. Yep. It didn't. So I guarantee you this coming up season, they want the names. They want the names, man. They about money, man. This is the last year, I think, before they go into the expansion of it. I think, is it 26? I think 27, 26, 27.
26.
So you better believe, man, they want to set the foundation and the prowess with a bang, right? And no disrespect to SMU and all of that, they done what they did in their conference, but at the end of the day now, I'm speaking of not the beginning, at the end of the day, you put an Indiana team in here that was utterly terrible. I didn't think they were very good like that. And that game was if you look at the watch numbers, it wasn't very good. It wasn't compared to some of the other games. In the SEC teams that did get in, didn't perform very well, right? So, I think these guys are going to go back to the drawing board, remix it a little bit, and I think they're going to shoot for brand this year, over a 10-2, a 10-1, 11-1 team whose schedule was utterly ridiculous.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, we could sit here and speak on this for days. This is a topic that can get heated. It can even turn political, right? So anytime you bring up ESPN, you bring up SEC and money, this thing can turn sideways extremely quick. But with that being said, Caleb came in here and said, will Bama land recruit Sedarian Morgan, Zyke Held, and the linebacker from Ohio, which he's talking about Sincere Johnson. In my opinion, for sure, Sedarian and Zyke, I 100% agree with Ty on this. It's going to be a claw to the finish, right? When it comes to Sincere Johnson being in Cleveland, Ohio State's backyard, and all that good stuff. But I mean, like I said, we made that top 3, and I was not expecting that, to be completely honest with you. So, Ty, I thought you need to say something.
Yeah, no. One thing that I think it bodes well for Bama is OU is doing a really good job recruiting Johnson from everything I saw, right? And listen, one thing you can say with OU right now is they do a great job building relationships with these prospects. They really do. I'm not saying they're landing the #1 recruiting class in the nation. They've got to do a bit more on the field before they do that, right? But they do a great job building relationships, as well as any team out there. And they're coached by Brent Venables. We know what he does with the linebacker position. Just sent a guy in the first round of the NFL draft. I'm going to go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off. I think he's got some other guys that are first to second round guys in that linebacker room at OU right now. That linebacker room is very good. For OU not to make the cut, I was sitting there thinking to myself, like, man, what did Bama do? What did, Bama at Penn State, Ohio State, they must have been putting in a lot of work for Johnson for them to be able to make that cut, as opposed to OU, who didn't. And especially when OU, who's always done well building relationships, that's one thing I think I can say very safely about Brent Venables. But then they hire Jim Nagy, which that was a fantastic hire. So that was interesting to me.
Look, and there's a consistent, by the way, thing you can find if you dive into all these recruiting articles, which I've been doing lately, and I'm highlighting certain things that just keep popping up from these recruits. And there's 2 names. The #1 name that keeps popping up is Courtney Morgan, the relationship he builds, not just with the mother, but with the grandmothers and everybody in the whole family, and Freddie Roach. When you talk about those 2, it seems like they are the staple at the recruiting consensus for Alabama right now and building relationships. And Courtney Morgan he's earning every dollar he's getting paid right now, that $830,000 contract that he got a raise for. So yeah, but with that being said, that's all I got on the lineup. Did you guys want to talk about anything else as we hit exactly 1 hour? Anything? Any other topics?
I don't have much. I just had to rant about 16 teams in the college. What are we doing? That's ridiculous.
I got one bit of news, actually. I completely left off, and I forgot. The Power 4 commissioners met 2 days ago. I don't know if you guys saw this or not, over the format of the playoff, and they all voted in yes to have 4 automatics for SEC and 4 automatics for the Big Ten. Doesn't mean it's going to happen because it's got to be approved by the actual commission. But the first step was the Power 4 commissioners approving, which they all did, and now it's moving into the second stage of that. And also, it looks like we're about to cut down the transfer portal window even more, right? By only having these, I think it's the spring portal. As soon as the bowl games are done, there's going to be a 15-day period where it's open. Only 15 days, and that's it for the whole year. That's going to be the next voting, by the way. That's going to be placed forward for that. And I think that's awesome. What do you guys think about that? One transfer portal window, 15 days, and it has to be right after the bowl games or national championship is complete.
I think Kirby said something about that to Josh Pate last year. He said, just let me see what team I'm going with into the season with next year. That's all I need to know. I don't need to know who's on walking on eggshells in here and has one foot out the door. Just after that period is over, let me know which team that I will have throughout the season, and then I'm good. So I believe that one is definitely going to pass just to have one. But I can promise you it's going to be a scramble, and a lot of guys are going to get lost in that shuffle. So I suggest be very, very careful if you're going to jump in that portal. You definitely better have a plan if it's only one for 15 days. So just 2 weeks. So, yeah, you definitely better have a plan before you jump in there. Just don't jump in there all willy-nilly.
And the second vote, sorry, because I cannot leave this out. The second vote was an amendment to that for the NIL, stating that you have to be on your 3rd year of eligibility at one school to get your full NIL contract. Otherwise, they're holding the money back, and they're gonna basically portion off the money through the season. Like, you're gonna be paid when you're playing, just like the NFL does, right? The NFL players, from everything I've ever heard, they don't get paid in the off season. They get paid per game. So because of obviously if they get suspended or whatever that may look like, that's kind of how they do it. I could be wrong, but that's everything I've read, not everything I've heard. So,
Coach Sean, you go, because I'm going to rain on the parade, and I don't want to do that right now.
For me, man, I agree with you guys, man. But to me, it's a bigger issue. If you're gonna do all of that, man, you got to put some type of criminal rule in place for these agents. You got to get rid of these dudes. Yeah. You got stuff going on now, man, that a lot of fans wouldn't believe. You got to get them the hell out, man. It's some crazy stuff out there, man, going on. You got to get them dudes out, out of college football and stop trying to make this into AAU basketball, and that's just straight up true.
So it's my time to rain on the parade, huh? Coach Sean, you're 100% right. You know what? And this is Josh Pate and I. We've talked several times in the past. It's been a bit, but we've had phone conversations. It was awesome that Brinsky, I think we did it on your show, and I broke out in that rant for like 5 minutes about agents. And the next day on Pate's show, that was one of the topics that he led off with and went viral. And I don't think he saw me say it. I don't think that at all. I just think that I think it's something that like a blind mouse knows is a problem. You have guys who don't have law degrees, who are just social media influencers parading around as agents. That's bad. Yes. That's not good. Now to rain on the parade about the transfer portal window and NIL. I'm going to start with NIL. I am pessimistic that they're going to be able to do anything with NIL while they can't pass judicial scrutiny for the Sherman Act or antitrust. I just they're going to do it, and then a judge is going to put in a ruling against it. And just like they did with the transfer portal a year or so ago, the NCAA is going to bow out the fight. John, I don't know if I've talked to you about this. I know these two gentlemen, I've said it so many times to them. Last year, the NCAA wanted to make it where you could just transfer once with instant eligibility again. A judge in West Virginia put a ruling in saying, no, you don't pass judicial scrutiny for your antitrust. You can't do that. For the next 14 days, go crazy. It doesn't matter if you're on your 90th transfer, take the 91st. The NCAA bowed out. They haven't revisited it because they know what's coming. So that's why I'm pessimistic about anything happening there. And now to rain on the parade about the transfer portal window. Gentlemen, do you all know the name Xavier Lucas?
No.
Xavier Lucas played for Wisconsin this past year. Xavier Lucas transferred from Wisconsin to Miami without ever entering the transfer portal. They found a loophole. What stops me from unenrolling at one university and just enrolling at another? Why do I have to enter the transfer portal?
Oh, yeah.
He had a team of lawyers that were just like, what stops him from unenrolling at Wisconsin and then enrolling at Miami? And Wisconsin sat there and they flipped through the notes and they said, damn it, they're right. There's nothing. So I hate to rain on the parade, but no, I don't. It's who I am. I don't hate to rain on the parade, but I'm here to do it.
So there you go. Yeah. No, look, at this point, whatever happens, I'm no longer going to be surprised. I shouldn't be surprised. I don't think any of us are going to seem surprised, to be honest with you. When it comes down to it, you're starting to see things progressively change more and more. And if you want to see a progressive change, you're living and breathing it right now, watching a YouTube channel with a person that never played college football talk about college football with a high school recruit. It's, you know what I mean? A 4-star recruit that was never seen. Right. So when you talk about 10 years ago, that was not a thing. Right. So I'm not a sports agency. I don't have internet commercial license, LOC, none of that stuff in business. And now I can do it. Right. So I think soon you're going to start seeing these YouTube influencers, social media influencers attach themselves to these recruits, which is what I'm afraid of. And I think you're going to see more and more recruits get on these channels and announce their commitments on these channels, because there's going to be some fluffing going on somewhere, but that's up for a whole nother discussion for a whole nother day. Right. So, but either way, anything else you guys want to touch on?
I do want to say on that last part that you said, you may have some recruits just commit on these channels. I agree with you, but that's also a good thing. I'm not saying
I
that
agree.
You just take them just promoting because they helping certain YouTube pages. You never know, man. You may see a commitment on channels.
Brensky, you think I brought that up by accident?
Yeah.
No, Sean, what's your take?
My take is I've been reading these comments, looking at these dudes going back and forth. Kanafi, my brother Kanafi. No, that wasn't Kanafi. It was somebody. Nath Bone and Lance Hunter and Beaver. Listen, man, let me give you guys some game really, really quickly. I love the fact that Texas is in the SEC. You know, I like when Bevo come in here and he's proud. I enjoy that. Bevo should be exceptionally proud because Texas did well. But I understand why Texas fans are beating their chests. I get it, bro. You need to beat a little louder if I was y'all, because y'all have sucked for so long.
Exactly.
You need to beat your chest because y'all done very well. I mean, y'all have been utterly ridiculously sucky for the longest of times, right? Damn near irrelevant. So I don't blame y'all, man. You come into the SEC, you get an easy schedule while Oklahoma get the hard one. You run through the schedule, get your ass whipped by Georgia twice, and you go to the SEC championship and get second place. You should be ecstatic for that. You should be really happy, bro. Shout out to y'all, man. I ain't mad at Bevo. Beat your chest for being second, but I will end with this, Bevo. until you win the big trophy. You're Texas. You ain't supposed to beat your chest for second. I was actually being sarcastic right there. You Texas. We don't beat our chest at Bama for winning second at all. We mad as hell when we win second. That's some Auburn stuff right there. You don't beat your chest for getting to the playoffs, getting your block knocked off by Ohio State. We played Ohio State, a better Ohio State team on offense, I might add, and we whipped them 52-24. You don't beat your chest for second. Well, maybe they do in Austin. I don't know. But either way, until you win the big gold trophy, you know, the big gold one. We got 6 of them things, right? Until you win that, you're gonna see other fans they're gonna laugh at you, bro. They're gonna laugh at you, right? And I say that because I see Texas fans all around the world like just beating that. I'm like, what the hell have y'all won the same thing Vanderbilt won, which is nothing, right? You didn't win the SEC, you didn't win the playoffs, you didn't win. Like, I guess that's the thing in Texas, to beat your chest when you win second. I mean, hell, shout out to y'all, bro. I commend y'all. Second place is that's pretty damn good accomplishment. But see, at Bama, it's championship or the season's a failure. It's
Well, I didn't think
championship.
Bama should be in the playoffs last year.
Exactly. If Bama was in the playoffs, every damn bye. See, I'm gonna say this, John, and we're gonna get off of here.
No,
They can hate Bama, they can talk bad about Bama, they can kick us while we down. But here's the real issue. Everybody watch Bama, whether you love them or hate them. Everybody watch Bama. Everybody wants to see that team. Bama was in 4 games, that was the best, that was the top watch games all season long, right? So at the end of the day, bro, Bama is still the standard. You still got picked. We went 9-3, and still people still out there chanting, we want Bama. So, bro, do your thing, Bevo. I love you, homie. I enjoy when you come, bro. No, the schedule is always easy when you play Kentucky, Vandy, Southeast Monroe, or whoever the hell it was. Did you play Ole Miss? Did you play who else? Tennessee? Did you play who's the best team on your schedule? Georgia. And they whipped your ass twice. Did you play South Carolina? I don't know. But shout out to you, man.
But
Bama is championship or failure.
And then
Point
I
blank,
think you
period.
and I think you even win a stretch. You went all the way to the national championship. Can we at least get a SEC championship out of you guys? Can you not choke in the big games? Because every big game, only big game I really seen you guys win was against Alabama, and you weren't a part of the SEC yet.
Now Scatterboo called them soft, Brinsky. He said they were soft. Wow.
Y'all was this close to losing to Arizona State, my brother. You can say whatever you want that y'all came in our house and beat us. But
Cool.
2010 national championship is still right there. We still had a trophy and we beat you.
You'll find out in the SEC, you got to win the natty to get the respect. If you don't win the natty, nobody gives a damn.
2 is not a winner, and 3 nobody remembers.
Nobody remembers.
I'll play a little bit of devil's advocate. I think if you're a Texas fan, not being sarcastic, you should be happy. You had a great season. You didn't win it all, but you came in the SEC. And like I said, guys, I agree. They didn't have an easy schedule because it was an SEC schedule. But comparatively, it wasn't the hardest schedule in the SEC. That's not me saying that, Bevo. That's literally the data. That's like hating on the fact that humans need oxygen, right? Like that's just a fundamental truth. But you handled business. You did something that Coach DeBoer didn't. That's where I'm sitting here like, hey, I think Sark has done a great job with that program. But I do agree, Coach Sean, with something like coming into the Bama chat and trying to troll. And you're right. Bevo said we beat 2 teams that beat y'all. You're right.
That's great.
You beat
What
Vandy,
did you win?
You beat OU.
What did you win for beating the 2 teams that beat us?
Bama
simple
beat
Georgia,
question. Who beat
what did you win?
Twice.
Nothing.
So it's like,
is that your championship? I beat 2 teams that Bama. You just proved my point. We the standard, buddy. Everybody measure themselves against us.
well, and then it even points to my point, Bevo. Like, I have a background in debate, so like I can talk about logical. And you're creating an argument that I see a lot of Texas fans use that in and of itself isn't a great argument, because it's pointing to the fact that, like I said, Bama was incredibly inconsistent this year. Right? Like saying we beat teams that like Bama lost to. You're right. That was due to Bama's inconsistency. But when Bama played their best this year, like I said, they beat Georgia. And Georgia was a good team.
The team that you lost to twice. Since you want to do that comparative thingy,
Yeah, I mean, I think two things can be true: that Texas is going to be a great team to watch going forward, and that Bama is going to be a great team to watch going forward. Bama lost how many guys to the transfer portal and had an overall winning record, and it was a season that wasn't good enough, and they know that. So I think that DeBoer is a guy that you have to put your faith in. We talked about his record. He's beat Sark twice. He's beat Dan Lanning. He's beat Kirby Smart now. It's just about being prepared in the SEC every week, which is where I will give Sark his flowers. Sark came in and was prepared every week in the SEC, and that's something that I'm like, hey, good for you, man. You learned when you were in the SEC. That's what you had to do. DeBoer had to learn the hard way.
I'm just going to point something out. Texas just had their first 10-win season of forever like 2 seasons ago. Texas is new to winning. They weren't even winning the Big 12.
Clearly.
So, I mean, I don't know. Other than that, like, you got to dominate the Big 12. No, Oklahoma did that. You could speak on the last 2 years or a year you were there, but everything could be dubbed down by a microscope. And
all that stuff is true. Great season, should be happy, all that, right?
Yeah, no, agree.
My only question is, what did you win?
Yeah.
That's all I want to ask. What did you win in order for you to beat your chest? If you beat in your chest that you had a great season, I'll agree with you. Great season. But my question is, what did you win? If you can't answer that, nobody gives a damn. Nobody gives a damn. That's the truth is in the details. Nobody cares. It's the truth.
Do you see a Hayes Fawcett illustration of second place? No, you don't see that type of stuff. Is what I'm getting at. Like, you don't see people putting that stuff up. You don't get statues built for coming to second place.
Nobody cares. I mean,
there it is, right there. Texas Almost University.
That's our new name. Almost University.
That I may have to include in this.
I mean, it's the point even of like coming into a Bama chat and trying to beat your chest. To Coach Sean's point, I've never came into a Texas chat and tried to beat my chat. I've been in there trying to talk ball, being like, hey, what's your position group? When I'm talking to Nino or Fanatic or Homer, I'm like, hey, what's y'all's position groups? Like, I'm trying to talk ball.
Yeah.
But to come in and try and big bro when you don't
you can't talk ball.
You ain't won nothing.
Yeah, that just shows what the standard still is.
Facts. That's my point. That's why I like the Ty talk. That's my point right there.
Yeah, we're still living in the 4-H era. I don't know if you guys are ever in the 4-H club or anything where they just hand ribbons out. So sorry, I'm bringing back up my childhood days.
I know all about the 4-H club.
Yes.
So, all right, guys. We can get on this. And Bevo, was one last comment. If Bama's not the standard no more, then who is?
Why are you here then?
Yeah.
It's okay, Bevo. We love you right there. We love you back, Bevo. We love you back, bro. It's all good.
Fight back, Bevo. Fight back.
Fight back. All right. Well, with that being said, I'm gonna let you guys tell them where they can find you and all that good stuff and give our conclusion. So Coach Sean, let you start, then to Ty, then to Brinsky.
Yes, sir, man. Big shout out to John for having us, man. Really, really, really good to see my brother Ty again, man. Can't get enough of that for sure. Shout out to JJ. What's up, JJ? It's all good, JJ. I like them dudes, man. I enjoy them. Much love to my brother Brinsky as well and all of our partners, man. Wherever Jance is at, shout out to him. You know what I mean? Coach Al, Coach Carl, Piano Man, everybody, man. All our friends, man. Much love to all of you guys. Great content creators. You can definitely find me at JMHO Sports Talk. That's on Twitter and YouTube, and you can definitely find me here on Fridays, right here on the Bama Standard, putting lashes to your asses. And that's just what it is, man. You know what I mean? Much love and roll tide to you all.
Ty.
Yeah, you can find me maybe here every Friday, depending. You can find me on the Bama Standard on Tuesday. You can find me at my channel Around the Table Sports. When the season comes around, you can find me at Bleacher Report. By the way, guys, back-to-back college football pick'em champion. Back-to-back, and I'm coming for the three-peat, right? Coming for the three-peat. I don't know my overall record, but last year, John, I don't think I ever got to tell you. Last year, I went 105-28.
Hey.
Out of 133 games, I picked 105 correct, 28 incorrect. This is what happens when you utilize your special powers for good.
We may have to do that for this channel then. So it looks like Ty is going to be on every Friday night, 7:30. So, and I got a question for you, Ty. Where do you put Mateer at as far as SEC QBs? Top half, bottom half? What would you say?
I did my top 5 SEC quarterbacks and this is a topic, guys. I think next Friday we could go all the entire time. I'm going to give you my top 5 in no particular order right now based on upside of what I think they can do. Bevo, I disagree. I think Mateer was a fantastic get. He is in my top 5. He rushed for 500 plus yards. They get their offensive coordinator coming with him. If OU can stay healthy, that's a big question for me. They couldn't do that. Bevo, I gave you one you're not going to like. Now I'm going to give you one you are going to like. I have been an Arch Manning defender and believer since he was in high school. John, you'll remember.
Yeah,
you will remember
yes,
whenever Mike Farrell made that hit piece saying if his name was Arch Smith, he'd be a 3-star. I was like, that's incredibly dumb. The kid is a great football player. If you don't think he's the number 1 quarterback in the class, fair. That was a quarterback class that I thought there were a lot of good quarterbacks. I thought he was a 5-star. There wasn't a question about that. I'd put up Arch there as well. So that's 2. I'm now going to give you one that you're gonna be a little bit shocked by. Watch Austin Simmons at Ole Miss. I'm a big believer in the kid. I think his upside is incredible. When I saw him come in, I thought he has the ability to be better than Dart. I really do. I think that he is a better quarterback than Dart in terms of upside. So there's 3. I'm going to go ahead and be a little bit of a homer here. If Ty Simpson can have the year I think he's capable of, I think Ty Simpson is going to be able to be a really solid quarterback. He's a mobile quarterback who can escape if he gets in trouble. He doesn't have Jalen Milroe mobility, but he's also not a pure pocket passer. He can extend. He can make some plays. So I think Ty Simpson's a guy that you have to be very excited about, assuming it's him. Now, I am very high on the other 2 guys pushing him for the job. Love that it's a competition. We'll get into that at a later date. There's 4. And 5, this is where I'm going to shock some people. I don't have Nuss in my top 5.
Holy.
And listen, here's why. It has nothing to do with Garrett Nussmeier. If you're asking me, because remember, I'm making this list based off of what I think they're going to be able to do during the season. He has to replace his entire offensive line. That was already an offensive line that was unbelievable. And now you have to replace that. I still don't think LSU's defense is going to be great. I think Garrett Nussmeier is going to be a hell of a quarterback, going to be a really good pro. But I have some major questions about LSU having to replace that offensive line. No defense, more pressure on a quarterback to take the reins. I just don't know. I just don't know about that. DJ Lagway, though, gentlemen, in terms of upside, remember, this is an upside list, what I think you can do. He's got to cut down on the interceptions. Now, this is one where it could come back to bite me. And if LSU fans see this and you want to at me, if Nuss has a great year, I will always accept being wrong. I will take the tomatoes being thrown at me because I am a Nuss fan. I do think he's a good quarterback. DJ Lagway, guys, I think he has an incredibly high upside, but the interceptions have got to get cut down. He's a guy that can really put you in some great positions, but he has to be mindful of putting his teams in detrimental positions. If he's able to do that, I think he has an unbelievable year ahead of him. So that's my 5.
Now tell everybody where they can find you.
Around the Table Sports and here.
There you go.
You asked about my top 5.
I
so-
know, I had to, man. I actually asked you about Mateer, but that was gold though that you put. The reason why is because I was banging the table about Nussmeier never winning the big game, can't win the big game, and me and Coach Sean has it. You know, Coach Sean has him as like number 1. But
I see these bees talking about he over dude threw for 4,000 yards, 29 touchdowns, 12 and his QBR. That's what I think was 80.
Did.
If that's overrated, bro, that was the best QB in the
I was just
conference.
watching your face when he
But
said
then-
it.
You're right.
I'll say this.
But without that offensive line,
I'll say
that's
this,
where I get real scared for him.
and I hope Justin Clipper is saying this. Nussmeier would be the best quarterback in this conference. Again, watch for it.
I'm going to clip it. I mean, I'm the one doing
Please clip it.
So
Please.
I'll clip it and I'll put it in there.
Please do.
So we're gonna have a compilation at the end of the season with Mateer, possibly, you know, top 3 in the Heisman, blah blah blah. You know what I mean? And then now I'm just playing around. Who knows? But in all seriousness, Brensky, talk about where they can find you at, brother.
Well, y'all know y'all can find me at Sharpshooters Podcast, only 10 subs away from 800. So it's enough of y'all in here that I know that don't.
170. Come on, we got 10 people to
Yeah.
go over to Sharpshooters.
Just go on over there, just hit
Thanks, man.
the
It's
subscribe
It's
button.
free.
And you cannot, I know where you cannot catch me at Almost University, aka Texas. So you would definitely not catch me there. That's my new name for them, Almost University. They almost did everything. But shout out to everybody at the Bama Standard. You can definitely catch us here every Friday talking about Almost University, because we can guarantee Bevo will be in here talking about Almost University.
Oh, we can't promote our OnlyFans?
Yeah, sorry guys, I can't put my OnlyFans.
Whoa.
I got bills to pay.
Whoa.
How do you
Whoa.
make StreamYard? You know what I mean? Like, but anyways, no. All right, guys. I appreciate everybody getting in here. Obviously, through the comment section, Kennedy, Jeremy, Lance. I mean, it goes on and on. Janet, like, let me run up the
Shout
list
out,
real
Lynn.
quick.
I
Shout
was
out,
going to wear my
Lynn.
shirt, but
Shout
it
out
was
to
in the
Lynn.
wash machine.
Facts.
Uh,
Janet was in
Beagle-
here. Janet was in here tonight.
I
I
didn't
did,
see
Janet.
Yeah, I saw her.
Yeah, I
Oh,
thought.
shout out to
I saw
Janet,
her.
man. I didn't even see her. What's up,
Yeah,
Janet?
Bevo's bodyguard. Appreciate you coming in here. Obviously, love the conversation.
Shout out to Bevo.
Justin from the Bama Standard running this thing, getting in here. Jeff
Justin.
Warren, Lance Hunter, Jeremy Matthews. Yeah, Janet's right there. She came in. Run up the list real quick as fast as I can. Hopefully, I don't miss any name. Susan, I believe. Jeremy Matthews.
Susan.
Kennedy.
Dwight.
Dwight.
Home team.
Nate. Jeff. Oh my gosh. Let's see here. I believe that's everybody for the most part. Caleb Taylor, obviously, getting in here. And that looks
One
like,
guy at Around the Table Sports. Shout out to him.
yeah, shout out to
That guy around the table.
The
Yeah,
Teague
he's a good guy.
Latoya, shout out. I know she came in here and didn't say a whole lot, but she definitely made it in here. Appreciate it as always. Just coming here and leaving a comment. So other than that, everybody have a good day. And well, we'll see you guys next Friday, 7:30 p.m. Central Time as always. And looks like I got to work on telling Ty he's gonna have to get on here now with us every Friday. So other than that, everybody have a good day. And as always,
Roll down Tide. F them trees.